Welcome to Mighty Men Thursdays, where we are having our Mighty Men Thursday special guest. And this individual is running for mayor of Stockbridge. He's very young, and I thought it would be really cool just to have someone at the local level on to, you know, ask a few questions and see why he wants to run for political office. So I'm going to bring him to the stage. Hello, how are you? I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Oh, go ahead. Now let's
Can
do
you
it
hear me
again.
now?
Yes.
Awesome. How's it going?
Good, good. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where we can follow you, what position you're running for. I think I kind of let the cat out of the bag on that one. And then we'll get into a topic of your choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jayden Williams, and I'm running to be the next mayor for the city of Stockbridge. I have proudly served the city of Stockbridge for over 8 years in multiple capacities. The last one was actually the chair of the Planning Commission. I've served in the state of Georgia in multiple capacities from my time at Clark Atlanta University, from at City of Atlanta, from the NAACP for over a decade. And I'm young, but I've done the work. um,
Good.
so now I'm running for mayor to just firmly believe in what we can really change for the city of Stockbridge, and that's making sure we're pulling open opportunities in housing, supporting young people's dreams in whatever career path they want to do, and not just career job fairs, but also making sure we have equal and fair opportunities right here in the city.
Okay, great. One of my questions to you is trade jobs. That's been a very hot topic here on my show. And, just to hear that you're talking about, getting training, have you thought about, bringing trades or maybe having some type of training of trades in the city of Stockbridge?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I actually want to do is to find a way where the city can create career pathways with our residents. And so that doesn't just include having job fairs, but we actually have a department or a committee that helps them through their entire process. And so that doesn't just include corporate or educational jobs, but that also includes trading jobs and trade school. If people want to go to trade school and don't know where to start, we will give them those opportunities. And since trade is in such a high rate right now, where people want to
Mhm.
do trade school because it's easier, they can go
Right.
in, come back out really quick, get their degree, and actually get to work. We want to make sure we advance in those opportunities as well.
Okay, great. That is so good to hear because, college debt is what it is, but not everybody really wants to go to college, right? I'm just
Yeah,
saying it's not for everyone. And with trades, you can actually become a small business owner
yeah.
and have a little bit more flexibility in how you operate. Are there any other things that you would like to see done within the city of Stockbridge?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm not sure if you're familiar with how we kind of operate some things here in the city, but I want to do a lot, and especially going back to our ordinances, where some of them haven't been changed since 2013, and the other over 50 years ago in the late 1900s. So there's a lot of redeveloping and restructuring of the city of Stockbridge that
Mhm.
we really want to see. Now that we've become or been deemed the largest city in Henry County, we want to make sure that we can accommodate and showcase the look of what Henry County is. And that just, for me, that doesn't say that we're taking away, um, I guess what we're calling like our rural area. A lot of
Mhm.
people are like, oh, we're a small little Cottonville city, but we can be both. We can have certain districts and certain areas that we kind of put together to make sure that we're showcasing what Stockbridge truly is. So definitely changing our ordinances, definitely making sure people are feeling included. We went from having an all-white mayor and council to a white and black mayor and council to an all-black mayor and council, but we were
Right.
worse off here where we are now than we were back then. So how can
Mm.
we continue to bring that diversity and not even continue, but how can we bring diversity and opportunity back to our city?
Now that's interesting how the ethnic demographic shifted, right? Which you would think would be more positive. Like, what do you think the decline happened?
I think the decline happened when our mayor and council said we need more people like us and more things for us to do, and
Mm,
forgot the sight that when you're elected, you don't represent one color of people. You
okay.
represent every single person that deems themselves a resident. of the city of Stockbridge.
Okay, okay, that's fair. Now, that has been brought up a lot on my show. I do live in Stockbridge. Now, I haven't seen too many issues within our small town or city regarding illegal immigration. I think just within the state of Georgia as a whole, there's a better handle on it and the expectation that, if somebody is here and they've applied for citizenship, that there's a pathway for them, right? I just don't think
Mhm.
I know there is some illegal immigration here. I'm not saying that we don't have it, but I'm just saying within our city, I think, I just haven't seen it. Is that something that is an issue, or do you think that's something that needs to be addressed within the city of Stockbridge?
Yeah, I actually have to stand with you and say simply it's something that is just not visible here. I
Mhm.
don't think that
Okay.
issue is as popular in these southern state or these southern counties around Georgia.
Okay.
I think it is something that the state level I think would probably take over more before our municipal levels would here in Georgia, just
Right.
kind of how we operate.
Okay.
I mean, of course, if it was something that was to happen down here, I'm sure our local levels would get involved.
Okay. And then the other issue I wanted to look at, it's not an issue, but topic, I'll rather say, with police departments. Now, this is something just around the country because, you didn't watch my show earlier, but like in states like California, New York, Illinois, they wrote policies, unfortunately, allowing people to steal, up to a certain point. And I know even in the city of Atlanta, it happened like at a Lululemon. There was an employee that was fired because they called the police on someone who was committing theft within the store. Again, not something that I've seen here in Stockbridge, but I just
Mhm.
wanted to, just ask your opinion, like, if you were elected mayor, that's a very important relationship to have as far as the police with the mayor. And where do you see setting some policies to make sure that businesses and residents are safe in that area?
And let me be honest with you, this is one of my favorite questions.
Okay.
Because my mom has served
Okay.
almost 24 years in the U.S. Air Force. And so
Wow.
service in the law enforcement realm is kind of something that is near and dear to my heart. And I'm just going to be upfront with you. While I'm glad that we brought a police department to the city of Stockbridge, our own police department, I should say,
Mhm.
maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I think what the current elected officials forgot was that they wanted to do it because everybody else had it and they wanted it. But what they failed
Mm.
to do is make sure that we had proper trainings in place, proper budgeting in place, proper opportunities for our law enforcement to also get the grasp of connecting with our community. The chief has done an amazing job with trying to adapt with what he has. But as mayor, one of the things I definitely want to do is to sit down with the chief and at least a good chunk, because I still want them paroling while I'm talking to him,
Mhm.
is just to see what they need and see what the city can actually do. I don't want to over guarantee them something that we can accommodate,
Mhm.
because as of right now, they're over 66% of the current city's budget. That's
Okay.
concerning to me because what if we need some roads repaved? What if a natural disaster comes in and we need to
Right.
do something? We can't because 60% of our budget is going towards the police department. Some of our savings is going off to pay off an amphitheater, and we don't have the wiggle room to say we can accommodate our citizens. And so I really do look forward to working with the police department and making sure we can find some safety avenues. I'm 1000% for having police in our community, but I'm also 1000% behind making sure we have community training and mental health awareness to making sure our officers are safe and making sure our community is safe.
And I appreciate you saying that, especially about community, because that's a big thing for me. I have relatives that have served as police officers, sheriffs, and their sons and children are actually serving now.
Yeah,
Is we've gotten away from community
yeah,
policing, right? Where Officer Tim or Robert or Sean, you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
with you.
Where you can call them if you see something weird going on in your neighborhood, and you'd be like, hey, there's something strange going on here. Do you know anybody that's patrolling in the area? And you feel safer because that police officer is more so your neighbor. as opposed to it's just this random officer who might come in who you don't know, and it becomes more of the us them situation, as opposed to
Absolutely.
as a community we're really here to help each other and solve the issues, because there's somebody who's not a part of our community who may need to be removed, right, or investigated or apprehended, we don't know. But with to me, without that real solid community relationship, policing is kind of lost. I mean, I think that's where I got from your response.
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the nail. And I grew up even here in Stockbridge, where we had community policing. I remember Officer Johnson like it
Mhm.
was nothing. He knew my mom, my dad. If something happened, he knew who to call.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to get back to that site. And I know we're not as big as City of Atlanta. We're not as big as DeKalb, so we can still have that form of community policing. But I have to also give kudos to our chief of police and his lieutenants because they make it to where we have the same officers patrolling each district at night or in the morning, in the afternoon, different shifts to make sure that the people know exactly who they are. And when our council members, when they have town halls, that officer is there to show face and just say hello so that they can also get to know who they are. And that was something the chief did, but it's something that we need to do moving forward because that is what starts that relationship between community and police and our police officers. Even when, let's say, their kids walking from the bus or going to the park, they know
Mhm.
their officer, they know their car, they know the car number, and that's how we start to build that bridge.
Right, right. Yeah, because even when I lived in Irvine, California, I had a officer come to my house and I was like, "Is everything okay?" He's like, "Yeah, everything's fine. I just wanted to tell you about, what your kids," and I was like, "Wow, thank you." You know what I'm saying? Like he made an effort, to really reach out, because a lot of officers are not going to do that. And he was just like,
Yeah,
just talk to him, some I just saw some things going on, and you're the mom, but I want to let you know what's going on as well. And I was like, "Wow, that's amazing," but it doesn't happen everywhere. And
yeah,
it needs to be more, I should say, the norm than the exception. Right? Where we have that relationship where a police officer, if they needed to stop by because they had a concern or they had a question, it wouldn't be like, "What have I done? Why am I in trouble? Why are you here?" It'd be like,
right.
"Oh, hey, so and so, what's going on? Is everything all right?" And starting the conversation up at that, you know, level. So, thank you so much. Now, is there anything else about you that we should know? I know that early voting has started here in Stockbridge, so we can vote for you because you are running this term. And it's interesting because around the country, like there's literally a mayoral um, campaign or election going on every year, literally every year.
Every
So,
year.
so this is
And
2025.
yeah, and I unfortunately, ours is on the off year. We don't get to
Hmm.
be with the big guns like when the president comes through. We have
Right.
our own ballot. But
Yeah.
what I will say is, of course, I think one of the things, and I'm sure many voters have already kind of made their decision on who they're voting for, but anybody who still does not know, they can go to my website at www.jayden, spelled Jayden, forstockbridge.com. You can learn about me, learn about my platform, and then you can go to jaydenforstockbridge.com/vote and find your older voting precinct. We really want to get our numbers to be high. We want this to be a historic election, not just because we're electing somebody young like myself, but because we're getting out to vote.
Right, right. And I
Yeah.
appreciate so much your energy, your efforts, because it is important, and you are the next generation of those coming up in politics. And I just really appreciate all that you have done. So thank you so much for joining us here today on Unfiltered Vision News.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Okay, yeah, so that was Jaden, and I will definitely make sure to have his link in my repost on X. And hey, contributions can still come in to his campaign so he can continue to, have his foot soldiers out there door knocking and making awareness for his campaign and his run for mayor for the city of Stockbridge.